Comrades, please take your seats. I will now reconvene the 124th VFW National Convention. Sergeant at Arms, you will please conduct the opening ceremonies.
Yes, sir, Comrade Commander-in-Chief, sir. Veterans of Foreign Wars, attention, hut! Comrades facing the flag of our nation, please join me in an opening salute to our colors. Present, arms. Order, arms. Comrade National Chaplain Deborah Halter, would you lead us in our opening prayer? Uncover, parade, hist.
Almighty God, we ask you to come and be with us today. Our business is important as we honor a few good people who have served the VFW well. We are blessed because of them. We also ask that you be with us as we nominate our officers for the 2003-2004 year. May they be the right people for the right jobs. We ask this for the greater good of all of our comrades. Amen.
Amen. Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States, attention, hut, cover. Comrades honoring the flag of our nation, please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Present, arms. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Order, arms. Comrade Commander-in-Chief, that completes opening ceremonies for this session of the 124th National Convention of the Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States.
Thank you, Sergeant at Arms.
Thank you, sir. National Sergeants, right, face, forward, march.
I will now like to call Betty Griff for the report of our credentials.
Thank you, Arizona. Aren't they great? Good morning, Commander-in-Chief, council members, and delegates. At the close of business, 3 p.m. yesterday, July 25th, 2023, the total delegates registering their credentials are 8,282. Department commanders, 43. Past Commander-in-Chief, 10. National officers, 48. Grand total, 8,383. And Tuesday, we brought in attendance, 1,746 members. Thank you, sir. That's my report.
Before I proceed to go visit the auxiliary this morning, and then our Senior Vice Commander-in-Chief will take the podium, Dan West will have some announcements. I just want to do one thing because it was brought to my attention. I apologize for it because every time I see a first-time attendee, I give you a coin. I'm out of coins, that's somebody I saw. So all first-time attendees, please stand to be recognized. Thank you for your attendance, and I hope you come back. Dan West?
Good morning, comrades. I have some announcements to make here. First one, due to the overwhelming demand for Tuesday's Post Commander Quartermaster Responsibilities session, the Post Quartermasters Workshop at 2:30 p.m. today in room 25AB will cover many of the same topics. 2, the District Commander Responsibilities session scheduled for today at 1 p.m. has been changed to room 131 ABC to accommodate a larger crowd. If you are making nominations later today, I will need you to come up to the stage approximately around 11 a.m. or as the sergeants come obtain you and escort you up here. Past chiefs, If you would like to make your way up here, as you will be introduced later in the program, you may sit in the back here behind us, just individually work your way up here. That is all the announcements I have. I will not take questions at this time. Please welcome to the microphone our National Senior Vice and incoming Commander-in-Chief, Dwayne Sarmiento.
Thank you, Dan. Where are we at? Ladies and gentlemen, standing behind me are the elite, our VFW National Sergeant at Arms. I want to express my appreciation for this group of individuals who are often the first to arrive and last to leave. Year after year, they do an outstanding job at ensuring the order of our national meetings and events. It is now my privilege to introduce National Sergeant at Arms, Brian Willett. Brian has been a member of the Sergeant at Arms since 2016. He is a Gold Life Legacy member of Post 3104 in South Hadley, Massachusetts. A 5-time All-American Post Commander, past All-American District Commander, and past Department Judge Advocate. He currently serves as the Department Sergeant at Arms. Brian is retired from the United States Army as a Staff Sergeant. I knew that goofy word would come out. Whatever it is you silly Army people say. I lost my place. He completed his basic infantry and airborne training in 1983 and served with both. What the hell's wrong with you people? Airborne? Can we get through this? And the 3rd Armored Division, do they have something? Brian deployed to Bosnia in 2001 with the 29th Infantry Division in support of Operation Joint Forge. In 2010, he deployed to Afghanistan with the 86th Infantry Brigade Combat Team in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. His awards include the Purple Heart and the Combat Action Badge. I now call on National Sergeant at Arms Brian Willett to introduce his team.
That was great. Thanks a lot. You got all of it. Thank you very much, Chief. Joy Osman has been a member of the Sergeants at Arms for an astounding 27 years and is a Gold Legacy Life member of Gilbert, Minnesota, Post 4456. She is also a life member of the Cloquet, Minnesota VFW Auxiliary Post 3979. Joy is a past post and district commander, past district quartermaster, and past department chief of staff. She has served in both the Marine Corps and the Army, earning her VFW eligibility in Desert Storm. She recently returned from a Peace Corps volunteer service in Swahililand. She is currently a lecturer at the Good Shepherd College of Health Sciences in Swahililand through the virtual Peace Corps service. Joy. Next is Jim Galen, who has been a member of the Sergeants for 22 years and is a life member of Post 6802 in Richmond, Michigan. He is a past All-State Post Commander and past All-State Post Quartermaster. He served as Post Quartermaster for 19 years and is a past District 5 Commander. Jim retired after 30 years of service from General Motors. Keith McDonald has been a member of the Sergeants for another astounding 29 years and is a member of Post 5867 in Lakeside, California. He retired from the United States Navy with more than 23 years as a Senior Chief Petty Officer. Keith is a past All-American Post Commander and All-American District Commander and is currently serving as Quartermaster of Post 5867. Keith recently retired as a government contractor supporting the DDG 51 class new construction program at the Naval Information Warfare Systems Command in San Diego, California. George Lott has been a member of the Sergeants at Arms for almost 14 years. He is a Gold Legacy Life member and past commander of the Lieutenant Robert A. Madden Post 10152 in Ogdensburg, New Jersey, and is a past New Jersey District 21 commander. He is a United States Army combat veteran and was a drill sergeant who taught basic training at Fort Dix, New Jersey. Upon returning from Vietnam, George recently retired after 33 years as the Department of New Jersey's State Sergeant at Arms. He was employed as a police officer in his hometown Ogdensburg for 34 years and retired in 2008 as Chief of Police. Next is Laura Land. Laura is a Gold Legacy Life member of the Benjamin O. Davis Post 9191 in Killeen, Texas. She has been a member of the Sergeants at Arms since November 2016 and is a past All-State and All-American Post Commander. In 2015, Laura was named the top commander in the state of Texas and was the first woman veteran to serve as the District 14 commander, where she achieved All-State and All-American honors. She served as the Veterans Women's Chair for the Department of Texas from 2016 to 2018 and served as National Aide-de-Camp 2017 to 2018. In 2022, Laura was appointed to oversee the stand-up and operations of the VFW's post on the largest installation in the United States, Command Sergeant Major A.C. Cotton VFW Post 12209 on Fort Cavazos, formerly Fort Hood, Texas, which is the first VFW post allowed to be open in the state of Texas on an active duty military installation. Sherrod Nathan Conyers is a native of Marietta, Georgia, and is a Gold Legacy Life member of the Rainbow Post 2681. He has been a member of the Sergeants at Arms for 8 years. Sherrod's military career began after becoming a direct commissioned second lieutenant from Tuskegee University's ROTC program into the United States Army. Sherrod earned his VFW eligibility with deployments to Jordan and Afghanistan during Operation Enduring Freedom and to Iraq during Operation Iraqi Freedom. During his 4 years of active duty in the military, he was promoted to the rank of captain. Sherrod is a life member of the Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, a member of the 200 Corinthians Masonic Lodge, and was commissioned an Honorable Kentucky Colonel. He currently serves as an associate at Boston Consulting Group and serves as a full-time spouse and father. Rene Fuertes has been a member of the Sergeants at Arms since 2021. He is a life member of Post 3104 in South Hadley, Massachusetts, and is a 3-time past commander of Post 3389 in Randolph, Massachusetts. He has received appointments as the Assistant Inspector General, Special Aide-de-Camp, and was named the Massachusetts Member of the Year for both 2018 and 2021. He currently serves as a member of the State Honor Guard and Department Assistant Sergeant at Arms. Rene completed boot camp in 1986 at the Naval Training Center in San Diego and earned his VFW eligibility in Operation Uphold Democracy in 1994 and later deployed in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. He received 3 Navy Achievement Medals, 2 Coast Guard Achievement Medals, and the Coast Guard Meritorious Unit Commendation with Operational Distinguished Device. Rene retired from the United States Navy as a Petty Officer Second Class. He has been employed by the state of Massachusetts for 33 years as an investigator. Todd Hokinson has been a member of the Sergeants at Arms for 2 years. He is a Gold Legacy Life member of the Lucius Pinnock Medal of Honor VFW Post 430 in Canyon, Texas. He earned his VFW eligibility in Operation Desert Shield and Desert Storm. Todd is a 2-time All-State Captain Post Commander, a 2-time All-American Post Commander, a past District 4 Commander, and a past Department of Kansas Junior Vice Commander.
He currently lives in Amarillo, Texas, where he took a promotion and transfer with the TSA. Todd retired from the United States Army as a first sergeant with over 24 years of service. He was a field artilleryman for 6 years and a military policeman for 18. He was deployed to Desert Storm, Desert Shield, Bosnia, Operation Joint Guard, Korea, and Operation Iraqi Freedom in Iraq from 2003 to 2004, and again from 2006 to 2008. He's awarded several awards during his career, including the Legion of Merit, 2 Bronze Stars, and the Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medal. He received several leadership awards, including the Major General Aubrey Newman Leadership Award. Todd is accompanied by his service dog, Zephyr, who as of last night has been officially deputized and is a member of the team. Todd Hokanson. Keith, that's it. Thank you. I think the rest is yours.
The men and women here with me on the stage work tirelessly behind the scenes, and we depend on them so much. Sometimes we forget to express our gratitude, so at this time, I want to publicly say thank you to each and every one of you. All of them consistently represent our organization well, and I am proud of the professional way you conduct yourselves. I am honored to have this opportunity to serve with you. On behalf of the entire organization, once again, thank you. I'd like to introduce the past commander-in-chiefs that are attending this convention. From 1988 to 1989, from Louisiana, Larry W. Rivers. I know he's here, I just saw him. 1991, 1992, a fellow Garden Stater, Robert E. Wallace. 1995 to 1996 from Massachusetts, Paul A. Spera. (1996 to 1997) from Texas, James E. Nyer. I see you, Chief. (1997 to 1998) from Ohio, John E. Moon. All right. From 1999 to 2000, John W. Smart. (2010 to 2011), Richard L. Eubank from California. And I do apologize, Chief Smart, you were from the great state of New Hampshire. Or when you, I don't know how you transferred since then, however that works. You were from New Hampshire when you were chief. 2012 to 2013 from Florida, John E. Hamilton. 2013 to 2014 from Indiana, William A. Thine. 2014 to 2015 from Nevada, John W. Stroud. 2017, 2018 from Ohio, Keith E. Harmon. I like the energy, I truly do. 2018 and 2019 from New Mexico, Vincent B.J. Lawrence. 2019 and 2020 from New York, William Doc Schmitz. And 2020 to 2021 from Virginia, Harold Hal Roche. Is Lynn, where's Lynn? This is Lynn, right? Is Lynn go?
Yeah, you go ahead and read these.
Okay. There are 4 nominations for District 9 for the 2023 to 2029 term, representing Minnesota, Nebraska, North Dakota, and South Dakota. Let me back up a page. I was ahead of you. You guys are probably wondering, what the hell is he talking about? Well, now you're going to know. Let me back up a page. Since 1925, the VFW National Home in Eaton Rapids, Michigan, has remained a prominent representation of the absolute best of the Veterans of Foreign Wars and Auxiliary has to offer. There is no better example of how our organization works together to support America's military families than by the service offered by the VFW National Home. The VFW National Home is governed by a board of trustees. I will now read the nominations for the National Home Board of Trustees for the record. Now it makes sense, right? Now I'm going to read. There are 4 nominations for District 9 for the 2023 to 2029 term, representing Minnesota, Nebraska, North Dakota, and South Dakota. Glennis Collier has been a VFW National Home Life member since August 2017. She is endorsed by the VFW Department of South Dakota. Vicki Ross has been a VFW National Home Life member since March 2008. She's endorsed by the VFW Department of South Dakota Auxiliary. Wendy Dannenfelser has been a VFW National Home Life member since August 2014. She's endorsed by the VFW Department of North Dakota Auxiliary. Excuse me. Danny Kramer has been a VFW National Home Life member since 2016. He is endorsed by the VFW Department of Nebraska. There are 3 nominations for District 12 for the 2023 to 2029 term, representing California, Hawaii, Idaho, Nevada, Oregon, and Washington. Now, I had to say Oregon. I always say Oregon, and I get yelled at by people in Oregon. So Oregon, I really had to concentrate on that, fellas and ladies. Mary Ann Crowitz has been a VFW National Home Life member since 2015. She's endorsed by the VFW Department of California Auxiliary. Nikki Benjamin has been a VFW National Home Life member since January 1998. She's endorsed by the Department of Washington Auxiliary. Ron Lockwood has been a VFW National Home Life member since August of 2017. He is endorsed by the VFW Department of Hawaii. Now to announce the 2023 National Buddy Poppy Contest winners is Lynn Rolfe, Director of VFW Programs.
Morning, comrades. Hopefully everyone had a blast last night. Sorry I'm a little hoarse from screaming over the music. Without a question, one of the most recognizable symbols around the world is your VFW Buddy Poppy. To the VFW and its auxiliary members, it signifies the remembrance and commemoration of our fallen brothers and sisters. It reminds us of our duty and responsibility to our nation's living veterans. For decades, VFW members and its auxiliary have distributed the revered Buddy Poppy to millions of our community members. Today, we're taking a few minutes to honor and recognize those whose passion and creativity have taken the Buddy Poppy to another level. These are individuals and posts who have used our Buddy Poppies in the creation of exceptional and inspiring works of art and displays, and hopefully you've taken the time to visit and walk through all those incredible works of art. This year's entries were judged by the National VFW Programs Committee Chairman John Archuleta, accompanied by the committee members Craig DeOld, Teresa Donahue, Don Pettijohn, Ginger Graham, Dwayne Hermanson, Amy McKenzie, Roger Meyer, Dave Wilson, and Kathleen Farley, the 2022-2023 Auxiliary Buddy Poppy and VFW National Home Advisor. In addition, the 2023-2024 Auxiliary Buddy Poppy National Home Ambassador designate Lisa Jackson. The displays were judged on effectiveness, clarity of theme, suitability, originality, beauty, and the number of poppies used. Category 1 should be popping up on the screen. Honorable mention goes to the VFW Auxiliary to the Superstition Mountain Post 9399 in Apache Junction, Arizona. Third place award goes to the VFW United Post 2975 and its VFW Auxiliary in Beresford, South Dakota. Second place award goes to the VFW Auxiliary to the Lexington VFW Post 8738 in Lexington, South Carolina. And the first place winner in Category 1, the VFW Auxiliary to the Parnell Burt Post 3615 in Ruston, Louisiana. Next up, Category 2 for Memorial and Inspirational Display. Honorable mention goes to the VFW Auxiliary to the Virgil Wilson VFW Post 4961 in Seaford, Delaware. Third place award goes to the Robert V. Lindsay VFW Post 141 and its VFW Auxiliary in Bethel, Alaska. Second place goes to Hometown Murray VFW Post 9773 and its VFW Auxiliary in Hometown, Illinois. The first place winner in Category 2, VFW Auxiliary, and the Alfred Pepin VFW Post 798 in Newport, Vermont. Category 3 for artistic and decorative use of the Buddy Poppy. Honorable mention goes to the VFW Auxiliary to the Brigadier General Clifford Shuey VFW Post 6306, Golden Shores, Arizona. Third place award goes to the VFW Auxiliary to the Raymond L. Green VFW Post 6917 in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Second place winner is the VFW Auxiliary to the Private Alan J. Beck Jr. VFW Post 5265 in Spring Grove, Pennsylvania. There was no first place awarded. I disqualified them due to listing their post number. And last but not least, the Director's Award is given to the Buddy Poppy display that, in my opinion, most creatively and effectively represents the intent of the Buddy Poppy program. I'm pleased to announce that this year's recipient of the Director's Award is Fort Morgan, VFW Post 2551 in Morgan, Colorado, and its VFW Auxiliary to the Ralph Frank Janusik Post 2788 in Penrose, Colorado. That post in the Department of Colorado are raffling that saddle off in their hospitality room if you want a shot at it. See the Department of Colorado. Okay, for this year's silent auction, 52 departments have donated many items, many reflective of their home states and commonwealths. For more than 2 decades, this auction has raised money for issues that are close to the hearts of our VFW and its auxiliary. Everyone knows I bleed the VFW programs daily. So today, nothing makes me more prouder to announce that all the funds raised go to our incredible VMS programs. Thanks to you, comrades, and our auxiliary, we raised a grand total of $6,145. Salute to you all. And I would be remiss, please pay today, otherwise the Quartermaster General is going to find you. Okay, another big supporter of our VFW Veterans and Military Support Programs is our Howard E. Vanderkloot motorcycle ride. We had over 86 riders show up Saturday morning, 112 degrees, 9 a.m., and they braved it. Yeah, it was dry heat. Of course, I gave them a chance. You know, they can just pass the money off and come back to convention center and go back to the room, but they all sucked it up, embraced the suck, and did the ride for the true reason that Howard did the ride was camaraderie, talking about our programs, and expanding our membership. So with that, Senior Vice Commander-in-Chief Dwayne Sarmiento, I want to present a check on behalf of our Howard E. Vanderkloot participants, posts, and auxiliaries across the world, a check for $25,000.281.
Where the bank at cash this?
Mark said he can cash anything. Okay, now, some more exciting news. I cannot thank everyone that participated in our inaugural cornhole tournament. What'd y'all think? It's only gonna get bigger and better, but we need your help. Talk to those posts. Talk to anyone that's coming to convention. Tell them to get out to Louisville. Throw some bags. Raise some great money for our PACT Act initiatives on our NVS program. We need your help. We're going to blow this thing up even bigger next year, and I just want to recognize some of our place finishers. Yeah, some of our comrades actually ran into some ringers that came in Arizona. We had 2 veteran teams that came in that were actual pro ACL players, all veterans, and their team name was the Shiz. The second team was the Dominant Force. And third place on day 1 was Team Whitley. Okay, I had it written down wrong, sorry. Day 2, the Shiz won again. The Dominant team won again, and my own personal team out of VFW programs got third place. Day 3, the Louisiana Crew won first place. Second place, T Squared. Third place, Team Whitley. Sorry, my hearing aids can't hear you. Please help us spread the word. I am proud to announce that due to your hard work and your support, we raised $31,000 for our NVS program. Thank you, comrades. God bless.
We want to have the Fred C. Hall Outstanding Community Service Project Award. The VFW has a rich tradition of community service as evidenced by more than 5 million hours our members volunteer each year. Those hours are spent in a variety of ways, from food and clothing drives for those in need, to Veterans Day ceremonies and service projects that provide emergency disaster relief in desperate times. Our work instills a sense of patriotism and pride in our communities. Today it is with great pleasure and honor that we recognize and celebrate the outstanding contributions of VFW Post 2894, located in the vibrant city of Chesapeake, Virginia. That's right, you can hoot, holler, be loud and proud. The Post unwavering commitment to community and service shall serve as an inspiration to us all. The VFW Fred C. Hall Outstanding Community Service Award stands as a testament to the exceptional dedication and selfless display by the members of Post 2894 and their tireless efforts to uplift their community. Founded on the principles of camaraderie, service, and deep reverence for the sacrifices made by our brave men and women in uniform, this post continuously goes above and beyond to ensure that its commitment extends far beyond its walls. When the post members discovered U.S. Navy Petty Officer Victoria Bullard and her husband Christopher, also on active duty Navy, had been duped and taken advantage of when purchasing a home in the area, they sprang into action to ensure the house went from being practically uninhabitable to a home they were expecting. Post 2894 worked with the community and local groups like Home Depot, ICEL 757, Habitat for Humanity to repair a large hole in the kitchen floor and replace flooring throughout the home while also renovating the kitchen and repairing the backyard deck. Post members didn't stop working until the Bullard's house offered a safe home. Please join me in giving a big round of applause to the 2023 Fred C. Hall Memorial Outstanding Post Special Project Award winner, Staff Sergeant Jonathan Killian Dozier Memorial Post 2894. Accepting the award on behalf of the Post is Post Commander Jose Vasquez.
The award reads, Fred C. Hall Memorial Award 2022-2023, presented to Staff Sergeant Jonathan K. Dozier Post 2894 for their project, Post Repairs Local Veterans Home.
So I was just notified that after 27 years, the Chesapeake Post has finally got a post home. I think that's outstanding. Great job. For those of you who regularly attend National Convention, the next presentation will certainly come as no surprise. For 56 consecutive years, the members of the Department of Arizona have come together as a team to increase VFW membership throughout the Grand Canyon State. What this department has accomplished is truly remarkable. I commend every member of the Department of Arizona for their years of devotion and tireless efforts that have gone into reaching this momentous achievement yet again. Now, in honor of their hard work and dedication, I would like to call on Michael Kemery, immediate past Department Commander of Arizona, to accept this consecutive years of membership growth citation. Congratulations to all of the Department of Arizona.
Certificate of Commendation awarded to the Department of Arizona in recognition of the remarkable achievement of 56 consecutive years of membership sustained by a department of the Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States. In witness whereof, we have hereunto set our hands and the official seal of the Veterans of Foreign Wars of the United States this 26th day of July, 2023. Signed, Timothy M. Borland, Commander-in-Chief, Dan West, Adjutant General.
Great job, you guys. Great job, Department of Arizona. Tim said he will autograph the picture so you can hang it up. It is now my privilege to introduce a gentleman who represents a company with decades of experience in empowering those who deliver care to advance health and well-being. Retired Army Major General Patrick D. Sargent serves as Senior Vice President.
We have a change real fast. They're not here yet.
Oh. You gotta let me know these things.
I just found out. I told you we were going to mess it up. It's my fault.
When you're a general, whenever you get here, it's okay with me. All right. Oh, hey, Dan. For more than 25 years, the VFW Foundation has worked alongside the VFW to provide our programs the financial support needed to help ensure the service members, veterans, and families we serve every day continue to receive the assistance and support they have come to expect from the VFW. Lisa Baronio was announced as the new executive director of the VFW Foundation in August 2022 and is responsible for overseeing the Dan, you gotta let me know these big words, man. Like, this is a big one. My Jersey education only brings me so far. I'm just gonna skip it. I'll tell you what, it's like philanthropic. I don't know, how do you say it? Look, man, I'm from Jersey. I don't think we use that word. But anyway, that word, fundraising goals and objectives of the VFW Foundation. She has held high-level positions in fundraising and donor relations in universities in Texas, Iowa, and Missouri, bringing nearly 30 years of experience to the foundation. Please join me in welcoming to the stage VFW Foundation Executive Director, Lisa Baronio.
Don't worry, Dwayne, by the end of a year, you're going to know the words philanthropy and philanthropic many times over. So. Good morning. I recently watched the movie Air on Netflix. The movie is about Nike and how it was completely transformed by signing Michael Jordan to a contract. While some might like to debate who the GOAT is, according to the official NBA website, it stated, by acclamation, Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all time. He played 15 seasons in the NBA, winning 6 NBA championships with the Chicago Bulls. He is a 2-time Olympic gold medalist, once in 1984 and the second with the Dream Team in 1992. In 1984, when Jordan signed an agreement with Nike, he was 21 years old. He hadn't yet come close to reaching his full potential. Michael Jordan's mother, Dolores, was a shrewd businesswoman. During negotiations with Nike, she pointed out that the proposed shoe was just a shoe until her son put his foot in it, and she was right. Due to this contract, Jordan earned more than $1.7 billion from Nike. To put things into perspective, Michael Jordan was paid a total of $90 million during his entire NBA career. Keep this story in mind as I shift gears to the VFW Foundation. The mission of the VFW Foundation is to serve military veterans, service members, and their families by securing resources for programs that facilitate enhanced life outcomes, now and for generations to come. We are a small foundation that primarily focuses on securing contributions from corporations and foundations in support of VFW priority programs. Some of these programs include National Veteran Service, Unmet Needs, Help a Hero, Voice of Democracy, thank you all so much for your donations last night, and Patriots Pen. Back to Air. Remember how Dolores Jordan stated, "It is just a shoe until my son put his foot in it"? The VFW is the shoe. The VFW Foundation is the shoe, or in this case, the combat boot. It is your feet that stepped into our boots that make us recognizable. You stepped away from your family to serve your country. You left your family and friends to stand for freedom. You fight for earned benefits for all veterans. You continue to serve your community. The VFW is the Michael Jordan of the VFW Foundation. Without you, we would simply be any pair of old shoes. We've got a short video to share with you about the VFW Foundation. Following the video, please join me in welcoming to the hall Chairman of the VFW Foundation, Michael, not Jordan, Michael DeRosa, or how he's better known as Mike. Mike is a retired Burger King franchisee who worked his way from Burger King management trainee to owning 18 Burger Kings in the West Central Wisconsin area. Mike has received several VFW awards, including the Gold Medal of Merit, the James E. Van Sant Citizenship Award, and the Lifetime Achievement Award. In 2007, Mike utilized his network of Burger King franchisee owners across the country to coordinate an annual fundraising effort for the VFW Unmet Needs program. Burger King has raised more than $7.56 million for the program and more than $700,000 this fiscal year. Thank you. Mike has made it clear it is only through the hard work and dedication of the Burger King franchisees and their restaurant teams that these gifts have been made possible. Mike DeRosa is a true friend of the VFW and the VFW Foundation. We appreciate the time and the energy he devotes to the success of the VFW Foundation and the VFW programs. Now, please turn your attention to the screen for the video.
Some things are bigger than us. Some missions more important. It's why you were driven to protect this country and every American who calls it home. It's a calling that's been part of all of us since our country's foundation. It's deep in your foundation, and we are your foundation. Your VFW Foundation is behind the scenes, serving those who served. Your foundation is a supporting force that helps fund the VFW's core work. VFW programs are providing immediate relief, raising millions for military families' unmet needs, unlocking billions in veteran benefits with the help of VFW accredited service officers, and empowering veterans to reach their full potential with scholarships. Our reach together is far and it's wide. From climbing the steps of Capitol Hill to enact change for veterans, being boots on the ground when need comes knocking in our local communities. It's all in the name of making a change on a grand scale. And while the VFW Foundation may be out of sight, our impact is not. You'll feel the impact in the lives of every one of you. We are your foundation, the VFW Foundation.
Good morning. Good morning, VFW. It's a pleasure to be here, an honor to be here. And I'm really glad that Lisa took the time when she gave me that nice introduction to explain to you that I'm really not that Mike, even though I'm wearing his shoes. And I'm wearing them for a reason. Direct your eyes up to the charts on the screens. Let's have those charts up there. What I did is I took your goals, the projects that the VFW is working on from your VFW magazine of a few months back. And I looked at that and I realized all the stuff that you guys do. And the VFW Foundation has to help with that. So I knew we had to make sure that we were as energetic as possible. So I figured, what the heck, I'll see if Michael's shoes could help me a little bit and be as energetic as possible. So, thus the shoes. It's not a fashion statement. I don't want anybody to worry about that. It's not a fashion statement. But what we have to do now is we look at those things that you have to do, and the things that connects them all is real simple. What you need to do it all is money. It's the one thing that the foundation is supposed to do. We're supposed to be the organization that goes out and raises that money for you. You can't fight a battle without ammunition, and you can't do your projects without money, so that's what we're there for. So I'm here today to ask for your help. I'm not going to ask you for money, so don't worry about that. I don't want to put my hands in your pockets. But I do want you, by the way, if you do have extra money, we'd take it, but I'm not going to ask you for it. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, how can you help us? And it's really pretty simple. The VFW and the auxiliary together, you have almost 1.5 million members. And those 1.5 million members, that's a lot, okay? A lot. But everybody, almost everybody has a spouse, you have kids, you have grandkids, you have brothers and sisters and cousins and on and on and on. And what we create with that is we have to look at the membership of the VFW and the auxiliary as a force multiplier, because you represent, not just you, but you represent a force of veterans that the foundation could take advantage of when we go out into the field and we talk to corporations and we say we would like to be able to have you come and help the VFW Foundation and raise money. And the money that we're going to raise from these companies, it's not one time. We don't want one time, because your projects aren't one-time projects. You don't do a project on your list and then it goes away. It stays. They have to be sustaining. And knowing the incoming commander-in-chief, I'll bet you any money that he puts a few more projects on that list, okay? They will always grow. So we need that money, and we need to make sure that you're the force multiplier for that money. Now I'm going to ask you three questions, and you could raise your hands. I'd like to see a little activity out there. Raise your hands, because I'm going to show you how easy it is to help your foundation. How many of you wear shoes or boots every day? Raise your hand. I'm going to check to make sure. There's somebody here not putting their hand up. Okay. How about people, you get a haircut? Yeah, maybe every 4 or 5 weeks? How many do that? Okay, now some of us not as often, and I know our quartermaster general, not so much. Not so much. Where is he? There he is. And then how about this? How many of you eat every day? Okay, all right. So 3 out of 3. I always say 2 out of 3 so Mark could feel that he's part of the group. Okay? Plus he's the Secretary Treasurer of the foundation, and we love him. But the idea is, the 3 questions you just answered, those are 3 of the major people, the companies that help the VFW Foundation. That's the Twisted X shoes, that's Sports Clips, and it's Burger King franchisees. So all of a sudden, without knowing it, you've already helped the foundation, because we could go to those people and say, we need to do this, we need to do that, and they'll say fine, because they know that there are people behind us, you guys, filling those boots, that will help them in their efforts to raise their sales and do all the good things that they need to do. Because think of this, you go home from this convention, and everybody goes out and buys one pair of Twisted X boots or shoes. Just one pair, $1.5 million. You think that'd be noticed? You go to Sports Clips and get your hair cut. You think that'll be noticed? Sure it will. I talked to a young lady at the booth the other day, and I was talking about Sports Clips, and she goes, well, I go to a salon. Her hair looked a little nicer than mine. And she said, but I bring my grandson to Sports Clips. That's a force multiplier right there. That's what we want to be able to see, okay? And so it would be really nice to be able to do that. And then how about Burger King? And I always tell people, because you remember I used to be a Burger King franchisee, if 1.5 million people go to Burger King, just don't pick the same one at the same time. That's either that or call ahead so they could drop fries, all right? But that makes a big difference in the life of the corporations. And when we go out to talk to other corporations, we could use that as an example. So our strength comes from you when we are doing that. Your foot is in that boot, and we are going to be able to use that. Now, don't get me wrong, the companies that we're dealing with, they're not doing it just for money, not even close. If you could remember the presentation that from the gentleman from Twisted X, if you were here Monday, that was an emotional presentation. He isn't helping the foundation because he expects to make lots more money. He does it out from his heart. And Sports Clip is owned and operated by a veteran, an Air Force veteran, Gordon Logan. And after my presentation in a few minutes, you're going to meet another Burger King franchisee who is an Iraqi war vet that we're going to honor here today for what he has done in his Burger Kings in the Phoenix area. So we have, of the 3 corporations I mentioned, we have 2 veterans owned and operated. And there's a lot more out there, and those are the ones that we want to be able to go out and grab, okay? So besides the money part of it, one of the things I want to impress on you, it's just the way we say thank you to those corporations. And saying thank you really makes a big difference, doesn't it? Everybody wants to be thanked. Because in actuality, these corporations are actually volunteers. Nobody's holding a gun to their head that they have to do it. They're volunteering for this. And volunteers, after a while, you know, you guys are all volunteers, right? And you're going to volunteer for your post, and it's exciting, and the first couple of years go by and you're excited, and the 3rd year you're excited, and the 4th year, why doesn't somebody else come and do this? You know, it sort of goes down a little bit. So let me share a personal story with you about the power of saying thank you to somebody. Now, you remember 2007, I started my relationship with the foundation, brought all kinds of Burger Kings with me. I flew around the country 5, 6, 10 times a year talking to groups like this of franchisees to get their restaurants. And it was really great, and I'm proud that we have raised that $7.5 million. I never thought it would do that. We started out with $100,000 the first year, and now we're up to, almost $6 million. That's just, it's amazing. I'm honored that happened. But while I was doing that, I was getting tired. So it's about 5, 6 years into the thing, and I'm sort of tired. It's just part of my job now. And I find myself at one of my Burger Kings, and I'm having lunch. I just finished. I'm sitting there, and I'm reading the paper. And you know how if you're sitting someplace, and all of a sudden you feel that somebody is real close to you? Well, I had that feeling, and I look up from my newspaper, and this big guy is looking down at me. And he says, "Are you the owner of this Burger King?" Now, I'll tell you, when you own a fast food restaurant and somebody says that in the middle of the day, in the middle of the dining room, the first thing I thought about, I wonder if the French fries were cold. should I say yes to this? He's bigger than I am, but I said yes. And he stuck out his hand and he shook my hand and he said, I just want to thank you for what you do for veterans. And that really moved me. Small thing. And he turns and he walks away. And, you know, I was almost, believe it or not, almost at a loss for words. But as he's walking away, I look and he's wearing a jacket. In the back of the jacket is the VFW logo. And it says VFW Post 305, Eau Claire, Wisconsin. He was one of my guys, okay, in my town. And he was a customer. It was a trifecta. He was a veteran, he lived in my town, and he was a customer. And I gotta tell you that really reminded me of why I was doing what I was doing. I was helping veterans, which is the whole reason I started this thing in the first place. And to me, that's the power of a thank you. And every one of you are capable of doing that, whether it's in your purchases of products or service, or whether it's just going and seeing somebody like this veteran did for me and saying thank you. Now, we will keep you updated on who we're working with, et cetera, so that you could help them out. But what I want to do is I want to finish this way for you folks. I want to thank you for your service to your country, to your VFW, and to your foundation. Thank you.
Comrades, I had an announcement come to me I need to make. The walk-in VA health clinic will be closing at noon today. So if you haven't been there or if you have an appointment, make sure you get over there before noon today. Thank you.
Well, good morning, comrades. I just had an excellent visit with the auxiliary next door. They're so motivated, it's not even funny. Something about a pie, I don't get it. That was a great event last night. It is now my privilege to introduce a gentleman who represents a company with decades of experience in empowering those who deliver care to advance health and well-being. Retired Army Major General Patrick D. Sargent serves as a Senior Vice President and General Manager of Oracle Health Government Services. Pat is a VFW Life member from the great state of Virginia. He was a dust-off pilot and oversaw multiple medical commands during his 35 years of Army service, which included assignments as Commanding General of the Army Medical Center of Excellence and Commander of the 421st Medical Evacuation Battalion. Patrick joined Cerner Corporation in April of 2022. Oracle's acquisition of Cerner in July 2022 merged with the worlds of information technology and healthcare, positioning the company as the largest health IT organization in the world. Oracle continues to modernize the electronic health record at VA, DoD, and U.S. Coast Guard, the Military Officers Association of America, and others, allowing easier access to high-quality health care for veterans, service members, and their beneficiaries, bringing us closer than ever before to realizing our goal of providing us all with a lifetime seamless, high-quality care. Please welcome our esteemed guest, retired Army Major General Pat Sargent.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. All right, hooah. Hooah. Well, I can tell you that as I found my way out to Arizona last night and I get off the airplane, I felt like I was back in Baghdad with all the heat, but fortunately I'm in a suit and not all the battle rattle that we wear when we're all deployed. I can tell you that being in this position and being in front of you is definitely an honor. And I don't take this lightly. I think for me, a person who spent 35 years of their adult life serving our nation, having deployed as a company commander in Desert Storm of a force support medical company. I went back at the beginning of OIF as a evacuation battalion commander. And then I went back as a brigade commander running all the medical resources in Iraq for 15 months, working for Lord Austin, people like Petraeus and Odierno. But I can tell you that all started for me as a kid in Panama City, Florida. And I was in junior ROTC, and I can tell you that your organization, our organization, because I am a member, that we are all about giving back to the community. And I received some financial assistance as a cadet from the local VFW. And so for me, you guys have been instrumental in my life and in the life of those young folk that is out there in our respective communities. Not to mention all the Christmas parades that I see you guys, that we participate in showing people that patriotism matters. I think it was Mark Twain who said, your life, that the two most important days in your life is the day you were born and then the day that you figure out why. And for me, it really hit me when I had to take that oath, to support and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. When I took that oath, I was like, hey, I'm serving something that's much higher than myself. And in many ways, as I've retired, and it's been 3 years that I've retired, and I say to people, I got more time in combat than I do retired. And so when I look at the folks that are here and the conversations that I've already had in the hotel, it's really refreshing and rejuvenating to be amongst like-minded individuals. And so I understand why you gather. I understand why you have the esprit de corps that you have, and it's very much appreciated, and I'm grateful for it. Ryan, when he asked me to come out, I readily accepted the invitation. Tim, really appreciate this opportunity to share with your team. As you know, and was stated, I'm the SVP and General Manager for Oracle Health Government Services. I believe I have the best job in the company because when I was recruited to come to the company, we were Cerner at the time. And we were having significant challenges with trying to figure out how to make our deployment go well within the VA. And quite frankly, we had some technology challenges. And as we were bought by Oracle, as I was telling Bob Wallace, who has been a huge mentor and counsel for me in how to negotiate some of the challenges that I've been experiencing with Congress, the VA, and a host of other people. And I really appreciate his mentorship in that process. But as I negotiate this space, I find myself being reminded of the Teddy Roosevelt, and I think most people might be familiar with the man in the arena. Okay, it's not the person who's a cynic. It's not the person who's aloof. It's the person who's actually in the arena, getting beaten, being pulverized, with the desire to be successful But if not successful, you know that you've given your best. And as an evacuation pilot, and I know we have some Vietnam vets in the room, where are you? Where are you? I was brought into the Army Medical Department in fascination with the dust-off pilots from your era. And I've met Novosel, Medal of Honor winner. And when he talks about when I have your wounded, that's kind of how I feel about this particular program. While we're having some challenges, we will be successful. And I will describe some of that as I go through the presentation here. But just know that the DoD, every medical facility in the Department of Defense is operating on the Oracle database in EHR, HUA. I can tell you that we went live at Walter Reed and Fort Belvoir. As a beneficiary, I received my care at Fort Belvoir and Walter Reed. Most recently, I was just determined I had a 3-level fusion in my lower back, and I'm currently going through some eye treatment because I have some water fluid in the back of my eye, so I can barely see right now, to be candid with you. But I can tell you that before we went live with the system and then after, clearly there were some challenges. But one thing that is sure, and I can tell you that the military brings to something is called leadership. And I think everybody in this room understands that leadership is a combat multiplier. And I will tell you that for me, I have had to wait a little longer at the pharmacy on certain days. But when I got to the front of the line, guess what? My medication was free because of my service to our nation. And to me, we have to keep things in perspective. And I will tell you that those ladies and those men and women who are in the military medical department, they are using the system exceedingly well. We are live at 5 locations across the VA. And we are also live with the U.S. Coast Guard, with the NOAA, and we're also in discussions with a couple other federal services as well. I can tell you unequivocally that Ryan and your national leadership have been instrumental in helping us understand what your members need and want out of this system. So I can tell you that through me and my team, what you guys are getting is advocates within the Oracle Center infrastructure. And we are delivering on the contractual requirements, not because they are legally binding, not because of the financial implications associated with it, but we all see this as a moral imperative. This is something that we have to get right. Tim talked about that longitudinal, integrated, interoperable, seamless record. That's what we need. And that's what we're delivering to members who have served our nation. Having retired in 2020, I had to go out to the facilities that I had been treated in and gather my records and take them to the VA so I can get a rating. I don't know how many people went through that. Raise your hand if you went through that. Exactly. Those days in my mind are over when we are successful with this particular process. I have colleagues who are getting care at San Antonio Medical Center at BAMC. They go to the VA in San Antonio and their lab work doesn't come over. It's like, give me a break. We're in the 21st century. We all know that there are 132 different instances of VISTA, and they don't talk to each other. Last time I checked, you guys are all veterans and you travel. So my belief would be we need to have an enterprise system that delivers and provides you care where you are. I am advocating that we work through all of our differences as it relates to how we move about the system, but we gotta be fundamentally rooted in the fact that it's the veteran who has gotta be at the front and center of this discussion. And I can tell you that as I watched the PACT Act unfold, there was a whole bunch of people not approving and not voting for that particular document, that legislation. It was you who stood, and I'm assigned, I'm in DC. I live in Lorton, Virginia, and I work at Reston. And the news at night, and I'm watching this play out on TV. And I'm saying to myself, thank God we have people in the VFW and other veteran support organizations advocating for us. You guys changed the nature and the characteristics of how the Congress views this organization, but more importantly, the benefits that we receive. Being in Desert Storm, I was there when all the oil fields are ablaze, and it's 12 o'clock in the day, but it was like midnight because of the oil fires across Kuwait. I don't think many of those people who voted against that legislation understood that or experienced that. And I do have some complications associated with that. So don't take your power, don't take your advocacy for granted. To that end, we've gotten some additional service level agreements because the challenges that we were having was with operational readiness of the system, and it was unacceptable, period, full stop. We were not living up to our contractual obligations. That said, June, we have a requirement to submit documentation to Congress to kind of describe how the system is performing. And I'm pleased to report that for outage-free time, incident-free time, and this thing called P90, which gives us the ability to determine about the end user impact, we met all of those standards. As it relates to ticket management, we did not meet the standard. And we are working hard and aggressive to get that. Neil Evans, who is the EHRM program director, he and I meet every 2 weeks. We put forth a remediation plan, because I think everybody in this room understands that this transformation is more about people, processes, and technology. It's not just the technology. And so we're working together jointly to kind of make sure that we have the right processes, but more importantly, the governance in place to get this done. While I'm going to be able to only speak at the high level in this forum, I'm going to encourage everyone in this room to join us this afternoon as we hold a fireside chat, and we'll get to much more specifics and specificity with regards to the program. But there's a key points I want to make. I already told you about the federal EHR is in all of the DoD facilities. When we went live at Walter Reed and Fort Belvoir, there were 0 patient safety incidents in that particular deployment. And yes, absolutely. And I think everybody knows that Walter Reed is the most complex facility in the Department of Defense and likely VA as well. We know that our members of Congress and the President of the United States receive their care there, and they're getting their care documented inside of the EHR that we are unfolding. The VA is on a reset. Reset meaning that over the past 5 years, there have been different stages of the implementation. And we had challenges along the way with people, processes, and the technology which we own. That said, they're currently working through the question of how do we optimize the system to make sure it works for the 5 sites that it's presently in. And in many ways, the VA is having to come back and say, maybe we put too many workflows and we made too many controls in the system. And so they are now doing a reassessment of that to try to make sure that the processes aren't complicating the delivery of the healthcare for the providers in the system. We're also looking at how do we continue to take the inputs from this 5 sites and make it go system-wide once we resume go-live activities. And then lastly, we are going live and we are presently engaged in deployment activities at the Captain James A. Lovell Federal Healthcare Center in North Chicago. I spent 2 weeks, I've been there twice with members of the VA, the DOD, because it's a joint facility, Navy and VA. And I can tell you that the VISN director, the VAMC director are very excited and they're looking forward to bringing this system live in March of next year. And we can talk more about that this afternoon. On the contractual agreements, I just told you about what we've done to try to increase the predictability with that. This interoperability and the seamless delivery of care. We've made tremendous process improvement to ensure that our patient populations receive care no matter where they are. And our goal is to be able to put the soul back into medicine, such that when you're talking to your provider, you're not being, the technology doesn't get between you two. Being in the medical care for 20 plus years, I understand this thing called a therapeutic alliance. You gotta have a relationship with your provider. Current tools make it transactional, and you can't get that level of alliance with your patients. But more importantly, we want to be able to have some predictability. Our system has many safeguards inside of it. We talk about opioid abuse. Our system has caught over 1,500 instances where if the medication was provided, it could have caused some level of bad outcome. Predictable analytics inside of our tool to make decisions. I will tell you that I want to thank you for your time and attention. I want to tell you that may God continue to bless the VFW, and more importantly, may God continue to bless our men and women who are standing on the freedom frontier on behalf of us in defense of our nation. My name is Sergeant, and I'm a soldier for life. Thank you.
That was a very inspirational speech, and I'm glad he already told us that he was a member, because I was prepared, of course, because I heard he had that qualification. Hey, comrades, I just wanted to let you know, give you an update on the VA clinic. After the Secretary of Veterans Administration talked, and I added a little bit more about August 9th deadline, and I'll remind you all now because some of you might not have been here yesterday, but the PACT Act claims you have until August 9th to do an intent to file. Just an intent to file. We have a VA clinic right here in the hall. If you haven't done it, I was told that over 100 did it yesterday, over 100, so congratulations on that. Because when you get home, you'll have a chance to finish that intent to file, and you could, if awarded, be back paid up until August 10th of 2022. So for those of you that weren't here yesterday, the August 9th deadline doesn't mean that after August 9th you can't file. What that means is if you don't file at least an intent to file, in other words, starting the actual claim, you don't have to have evidence now, just start it, get it recorded. You can get retroactive pay all the way back to August 10th is when the PACT Act was signed into law. But after August 9th, you can still file. It's just that it's not going to be backdated to August 10th of 2022. It will only be dated to the date that you actually made that intent to file after August 9th. Am I clear on that? Cool. So if you haven't done it yet, please go to the VA clinic and get it done because it will behoove you to get that retroactive pay back that you deserve. One other thing, for those of you that weren't at the patriotic rally, because some of you might not have come, we did an awesome fundraiser, and on the floor, besides the money that Jane Reep and I, our national president of the auxiliary, have raised throughout the year for the Voice of Democracy Scholarship Program, we raised an additional $19,000 on the floor just last night for a grand total of $63,000 for Voice of Democracy scholarships. So thank you, comrades, for your donations. I did note who donated to the auxiliary. I did note. But I know it was all fun. When I went next door, boy, they were cheering, and I got this gift, and I go, that's not a pie, is it? They giggled. But thank you so much for your donations. It's a win-win. Those kids right there just sitting down, they're going to be high school students eventually, and they're going to write some essays, and they will be beneficiaries of what we just did as a group. So thank you so much. The VFW Historic Award recognizes VFW members or citizens for their contributions to a better understanding of our American way of life, history, and institutions. The nominees perpetuate the memory and history of our dead, educate about the importance of American history and why the history is important to our institutions above and beyond what others would do. With that said, it is a great honor and privilege to introduce the recipient of the 2023 VFW Distinguished Historical Award. Robert J. Welch contributes immensely to a better understanding of our American way of life, and it's a great history through its commitment to honoring and educating. Rather, through his appointed position as a state historian at the VFW Department of Illinois, a position he filled for a first time in more than a half a century. His many